Royal Victoria Hospital, these are exciting times. It's embarking on the biggest capital project in Simcoe County history, an expansion that will transform this hospital and provide enhanced healthcare closer to home to residents throughout the region. This hospital opened its doors in 1997, but the region's population has exploded since then, and so has demand for RVH services. While long-term redevelopment planning continues, to meet the needs of area residents, this hospital must move forward aggressively with Phase 1 of its two-stage expansion project.
Royal Victoria Hospital is the largest facility within our LHIN, and we are also situated in the area of the province that is growing at twice the provincial average. We're faced with a population explosion, and it's going to continue that way for the next couple of decades. Our construction start date is 2008, and every day as we face this crisis of bed shortages, canceled elective surgeries, we know that 2008 cannot come soon enough.
While many departments in the hospital will experience changes, either relocation, expansion, or renovation, Phase 1 focuses on 7 immediate priority areas where need is greatest: additional inpatient beds, expansion of the emergency department, imaging services, and the lab, a new coronary care unit, more operating rooms, and of course the jewel in the crown, the Simcoe-Muskoka Regional Cancer Center. This is a preliminary architect's rendering of the entire expansion project, Phase 1 and Phase 2, and you can see how seamlessly it blends with the existing hospital. Most of the new space in Phase 1 will be located on the north or Georgian Drive side of the facility. The additional inpatient beds, including the coronary care unit, the emergency department, diagnostic imaging, and in the northeast corner of the facility, the cancer center. This will be the only center between Newmarket and Sudbury and will provide comprehensive cancer care to patients throughout Simcoe-Muskoka. In fact, in its first year alone, it will log over 60,000 patient visits.
The big defect that we have right now really is that we don't have radiation treatment facilities. And for patients and families, it means they have to travel. They're traveling when they're sick and unwell. The families have to take time off from their lives. The distances are far. Winter can be very onerous. And so this is very hard on them, emotionally, physically, financially. And when we have the new center, we'll have that facility here, close to home, and it will be just such a great asset, both to the patients and to their families and the caregivers.
Although constructed as part of the hospital, the cancer center will be self-contained, and in addition to the radiation suites and chemo treatment areas, it will also feature a pharmacy and space for social work, clinical trials, as well as patient education. With 73,000 annual visits, RVH's emergency department is the second busiest single-site ER in the entire province. But it is woefully undersized. Stretchers are crammed into every available space, including the hallways. The new plan calls for this space to triple in size.
Well, the biggest problem right now is that there's no beds in the hospital. When there's no beds in the hospital, there's nowhere to move admitted patients from the emergency out of emergency, so we can see people in the beds in emergency. So it becomes a domino effect. We feel it's way overdue. We need some type of expansion, and we almost need some type of temporary plan, which we're working on to try and alleviate the problem right now. The expansion hopefully will keep the emergency free to see emergency patients.
Included in the ER expansion is a dedicated trauma area, isolation, and a clinical decision unit. Mental Health's crisis intervention team will also be located here.
Just like this.
Right next door to the ER will be imaging services, which will almost double in size. Last year, imaging staff performed 140,000 exams, and that volume is going to increase significantly once the cancer center opens. This expanded space will provide much better patient flow and increased privacy. The opening of the cancer center is also going to have a dramatic impact on RVH's laboratory services. The increased workload, along with the enhanced regional services it provides, means the lab will expand significantly. In fact, the laboratory is being planned to extend over 2 floors.
1, 2.
80% of cancer patients require surgery. That, in addition to a growing demand for the specialty procedures RVH provides, is why the expansion includes 2 additional operating rooms. And they'll be larger than the existing ORs to accommodate complex cases. The surgical suite will also feature enhanced patient prep and holding areas. New to RVH will be a self-contained 7-bed coronary care unit, which will provide intensive care and monitoring for very unstable and critically ill cardiac patients. Once a patient has been stabilized, they'll be moved to the new cardiac inpatient unit, where the specialized team will continue to work with the patient and family until they can be safely discharged to the community. Also included in Phase 1 is the Lodge for Cancer patients who live more than 40 kilometers away. Named Rotary House in recognition of a generous $1.25 million gift from Barrie's 3 Rotary clubs, it will be built directly north of the hospital and connected to the Cancer Center via a tunnel. Under the same roof will be Gilda's Club Barrie, providing emotional, social, and educational support to cancer patients and their families. It will be one of only 2 Gilda's clubs in Canada. Once complete in 2010-11, RVH's Phase 1 expansion project will add an additional 300,000 square feet to the facility. To accommodate the increased workload and staff, changes will occur in almost every area of the existing hospital: the cafeteria, human resources, finance, laundry, health records, sterile processing, security, housekeeping. Very few areas of the hospital will remain untouched. Construction will be planned to ensure the least amount of disruption for patients and staff, because the hospital must continue to function 24/7. While construction is slated to begin late in 2008, early site work, things like servicing, road work, and parking lot construction, will begin during the summer of 2007.
When we cut the ribbon on Phase 1, it's actually just the beginning. If we could today begin planning for the entire hospital expansion, it would go well beyond Phase 1, and that's why we're underscoring it's only Phase 1. Everyone has to remember that there are many departments and services that are not expanding in Phase 1, and in the absence of that, our community is still going to be very strapped in receiving adequate services close to home.
The RVH expansion will impact residents right across this region. It will ensure they have access to the care they need when they need it. And it will allow Royal Victoria Hospital to fulfill the promise of its slogan: exceptional people, exceptional care.